2-0 sweep with the complimentary plays here on the video report yesterday. Cashing in easily with the freebies on Nebraska and SMU, but more importantly, another raise the bar 20-dime release in college football cashed on the heels of Wake Forest over North Carolina on Friday night. An even easier one yesterday was Central Florida getting the job done against Stanford. You got it as the half price play of the day. Now, if you follow me regularly, you know that I have a very narrow margin with my plays in terms of the ratings. 5, 10, 15 dime releases. And I've done that for years because I want you to know exactly how much or how little I like a play. I'm not one of these guys in this industry, oh, I've got a 1,000-star play, I've got a 10,000-star play, I have a 100,000-star play. I don't hide behind the ratings. Again, a narrow margin and range for my plays. But when I'm going to roll, I raise the bar with those 20-dime releases. And the other thing that you should know by now, when I'm winning, I like to press the action. You don't walk away from the table when you've got a hot hand, and I'm going to do it again today. But this time in the NFL, a very rare raise the bar 20-dime release. My first one since October 1st of 2017. Only my fourth in the past 6 seasons combined. Now, I've had bigger plays in the NFL. Occasionally, I will have 30-dime releases, but again, this is a rare 20-dime play, and it's on Baltimore and Miami. And again, I don't believe that you have to pay big money to make big money. So just like yesterday, you get it as the half price play of the day by using coupon code RAISE, RAISE. The word raise gets it as the half price play of the day. And again, it's bigger than the winners I've had in the past 2 days on Wake Forest and Central Florida. It's bigger than last Sunday's top-rated 15-dime winner on the Ravens and their road route of that minor league team called the Miami Dolphins. Bigger than my Super Bowl winner on the Patriots. All the other discounts and coupon codes from all the other handicappers are over on the homepage. So let's get right to your complimentary plays. I'll run these in reverse chronological order. And let me tell you, there are a lot of great games to watch today. But as I always say, you know, the marquee matchups are the hardest ones often to handicap. Like, for example, the Sunday night game, the Eagles and the Falcons. Well, listen, first, it's a hard game for me because I'm a lifelong Eagles fan. But I don't really know which way to tell you to go in this game. I mean, the Falcons looked horrific in that loss to Minnesota, but they're coming back home. They're going to play a defense that's not nearly as good as Minnesota's. Sorry, Eagles fans, but it's not, especially after that pathetic performance in the first half when you fell down 17-0 to Washington at home before you woke up from that first half slumber and actually started to play a little D. And I can't imagine that the Falcons are going to fall to 0-2 and play so poorly once more in their home opener. And yet, the flip side of the coin would be that the Eagles are going to put some points on the board against this Falcons defense as well here tonight. I don't know which way to go in this game. I mean, I want to tell you I think the Eagles are going to win, but I'm not so sure if that's my head or my heart that's telling you here. And then you go on the late afternoon card and you look at the Rams and the Saints. Now, I know all the reasons that the Saints should win this game, and let's start with revenge, because we know what happened in that NFC Championship game and how they got screwed. But I told you last week when I gave you the Rams as a free pick against Carolina, the home-road splits for Jared Goff are just incredibly biased in terms of his performance being so much better when he plays at home. Listen, they got the win at Carolina last week, and Goff was in that game, okay? I mean, 23 for 39, 188 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. You have him back at home, he's another different type of quarterback. Now, Drew Brees, short week, played well Monday night, but this Saints defense, it gave up a lot of points to the Texans, did it not? Can they get the job done on the road today? It's a 2-point line. It's a pick-em game, just like the Eagles and the Falcons. Again, tough game to choose. So instead, on the late afternoon card, let's look at Kansas City and the Raiders. The Raiders won on Monday night. Did the Raiders win because they were that good or because the Broncos were that bad? I choose the latter. Okay, Kansas City got a gift because Nick Foles got injured early in that Jacksonville game last Sunday. But Kansas City lost Tyreek Hill. They still have a lot of offensive weapons, starting with Patrick Mahomes. I think that you'll see LaShawn McCoy get more touches today, especially after an impressive debut and limited touches last week. They still have Sammy Watkins, who emerged as a go-to guy with Tyreek Hill out. Yes, Kansas City's defense was bad, just like it was bad last year. They gave up 347 passing yards last week. Most of them to Gardner Minshew, was the rookie making his NFL debut. But I still would rather go ahead and lay the 7 points with Kansas City in this game. And, of course, with that line costing 7, I'm buying down the half point on KC. On the early card, I like Dallas. I'm surprised the Cowboys aren't a heavier favorite here against Washington. The Redskins jumped out to the 17-0 lead at Philadelphia because, as I noted earlier, the Eagles' defense was caught sleeping. But then, once the Eagles woke up and Carson Wentz absolutely riddled that Washington defense and just picked it apart, and then the Eagles got going, they were unstoppable. Well, you saw how unstoppable that Dallas offense was last week. This is a Dallas offense with Kellen Moore as their new offensive coordinator that is opening things up. Instead of just handing the ball off to Zeke nonstop, they are now splitting the receivers wide. They've got motion prior to the snap. It's a different O. And you saw how effective Dak Prescott was last week against the Giants with 405 yards and 4 touchdowns. Do you know, I was reading this one stat that Dak Prescott, last 5 NFC East road games, 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I think the Cowboys are going to be able to move the ball at will against this Washington defense. I think that Zeke Elliott, who only had 13 carries last week, gets his 22 to 24 touches here today, and that's going to make the Dallas offense even more deadly here. And I just don't think that Case Keenum, who looked great last week with 380 yards and 3 touchdowns, is going to be able to repeat this performance today against the Cowboys. So I'm going to lay the points with Dallas, and I think that line's going to move up to 6.5 by game time. Also on the early card, Tennessee, a 3-point favorite at home against Indianapolis. You know the history in this series. Indianapolis won both games last year. One of them, Marcus Mariota, missed. They've won 18 of the last 21 in the series. Tennessee opened up with that huge road win, actually a road beatdown of Cleveland. Indianapolis, meanwhile, losing in overtime at San Diego. Nope, at Los Angeles against the Chargers. If ever Tennessee was going to finally beat the damn Colts, it is going to be today. Love the way their defense came up big against Baker Mayfield and the Browns. 5 sacks, forced 3 turnovers. Now, Jacoby Brissett, of course, more mobile than Baker Mayfield. But the fact is, the way that defense delivered, the way that the Titans had some offensive balance impressed me as well. That defense was really the linchpin here, because you're not going to allow Marlon Mack to go crazy. I mean, he had that 174-yard rushing performance last week in the overtime loss to the Chargers, and Mack had a big 119-yard rushing performance and a 33-17 win in Nashville last year. But I'm willing to say, buck the trends, go with Tennessee. You're laying 3, buy down the half point in this situation. So, the 3 free picks, ranking them in order. I'm going to take Dallas as number 1. I'm going to go with Kansas City because of the prolific offense as number 2. And I'm going to go against the series trends and take Tennessee as your 3rd complimentary play today. That'll do it. Wish you well and talk to you again on Monday. Good luck, everybody.